Hey guys, thanks for joining us again. We're still harping on about the new website, but one of the things we really wanted to do on that site is try and cover the bases for frequently asked questions. There's a lot of things that we get asked time and time again, and we thought if we could answer as many of those as we could on the website, it should make navigating the website and understanding what we do a little bit easier. So we are introducing a frequently asked questions section on there. So we asked you guys if you remembered when you found us and what the immediate questions were. Okay, I'm going to run through a few of those questions now. Hopefully we can get some answers. Why does Lineage matter? Well, it doesn't really matter, does it? This is down to personal preference and the collectors and what they want. To us, it makes all the difference. That's all I'm interested in. That's all I want to collect. But I know there's people out there who it doesn't matter as much, and they've not really got any interest. If it looks like a stormtrooper, it's a stormtrooper. If I'm thinking about buying something, then I want to trace its roots back to the movie as opposed to being a fan-made piece. So I guess, does Lineage matter? Short answer, it's personal preference. How important is accuracy? How important is accuracy? Accuracy is all about having the piece made exactly as it was seen on screen. And for me, yeah, it's important. For others, not so important. It's the same with the Lineage thing. The reason why I think it's important is because it adds to the piece. It brings you closer to the movie, which is the whole point of owning the piece. And it adds to the piece. It's part of the story of the piece. And if you're showing off your collection and someone's saying, oh, why has it got this and why has it got that? Then that opens the dialogue of the story of why it's like that and how it was made and what it was originally for. These pieces are not made to repel blaster bolts. They are to look like you are in a faraway place a long time ago. Do you buy off-the-shelf plastics? We don't, no. We have them all custom made. We found off-the-shelf plastics can vary quite dramatically in the quality, and we have our own specification that we require the manufacturers to make it to. It usually makes our plastic more expensive, sometimes considerably more expensive, but in the long run, if we've got a piece that we have shipped halfway across the world and it's broken, then it's, what do they call it in Ferris Bueller? Voodoo economics. It's much better for us to get the best quality of the correct product, to make sure that we've got that accuracy and to make sure that the piece is the best that it can be in terms of Lineage accuracy and in terms of the quality that we can produce in 2022, or what they call the 2020s, in the 2020s opposed to the 1970s. What's the best way to contact you? Through the website or directly using the email address info@rspropmasters.com. The reason that's the best way is because that's the most regularly checked. That's the one where you're going to get the fastest reply. That's the one our team is centered around. We do answer other messages here and there, Instagram and Facebook and stuff, but it's not monitored in the same way. The email trail is better for us because it helps us keep a track of stuff. All the conversation is there as opposed to different messaging methods. So I would highly recommend the most satisfactory and speedily way to get a reply is info@rspropmasters.com. What are found parts? Found parts are the real world parts that are still available today. Sometimes they're quite rare because they were mass produced previously. They're not mass produced anymore, but they are the original pieces that we used in Star Wars that were not specifically made for the movie. They can be really obscure. They are just a little piece off this or a little piece off that. We recently talked about the Patterson print squeegee, which is a darkroom photographic piece that was used for Boba Fett shin tools. There are thousands of pieces, and George coined the phrase greebly, which just describes a stick-on detail, and a lot of the found parts are used in this way. But yeah, found parts are good because they're a step away from production made piece, but they are the same piece that the production made the piece with. A lot of production and maids in that answer, but I think that makes sense. Am I too short to be a stormtrooper? Quite possibly. Mark Hamill was 5'7". The suit is designed for someone about 5'10", 5'11". It can go a little over 6 foot, it can go a little under 5'7". We can make little amendments and adjustments. But the armour is from an original set of armour. It's not been altered or customised to fit varying sizes. And it will adapt, and you can ask of it to change and to accommodate different body shapes and sizes. However, if you are short and large, or even if you're tall and large, you're asking it to stretch in two ways at the same time. If you're tall and slim, that's going to help with the fitment. But I would say 5'6", 5'7", 6 foot, 6'2", and a reasonable body shape. These are sort of the usual boundaries. It can be made to fit other sizes. I think we had Christine, who's very petite, and she made it work. That was a kit that she built herself though, and that helps when you've got the model and the parts to build all in one place. They're the usual parameters that we would work to. If you've got any doubts or you need more information, drop us a line at info@irishpropmasters.com, which is incidentally the best way to contact us. What's the biggest size head that will fit in a helmet? We do get asked this quite a lot actually. I mean, the Stormtrooper, the helmet is quite huge inside, but you've got an opening that you've got to get your head through. So I don't know if you, what did you measure Simon's?
Simon's head was 23.5 inches.
Let's take an average head is probably 22.5, 23 inches in circumference.
Average. Size head, massive.
20, well, what was mine? 22?
26.
Mine wasn't 26. Let's work on an average head side of being 58, 59 centimetres. You're going to fit in everything, no problem. If you have got a larger head, then getting something like a Scout helmet on is going to be tight. Once it's on, then you're good to go. There's room inside the helmets. It tends to be the opening which is small, and that may sound crazy on a Scout helmet because of the front obviously opens. The two sides do pinch in and make it quite a narrow fit. So I think we looked here, and I think 23 inch is a good size for getting in just about every helmet. If your head's bigger than that, maybe worth dropping us a line. So the average male human head is 22.5 to 24.2 inches. So if you're over 23 inches, or 23.5 inches I should say, because the Scout's going to be tight at that, yeah, do drop us a line with your concerns about your fat head. How long will it take to make? This obviously varies from time to time, depending on what we've got on, what runs we've got on. We try and work to around a 6-week lead time. Sometimes it's within that, sometimes it's just outside of that. That's on a commission. With other things it can take longer, sometimes much longer. It's difficult to say. Let's just talk about Stormtroopers and Scouts and ties, that kind of thing. We're looking at helmet, maybe 2 to 3 weeks, full commission, maybe 6 weeks, around that time. But it does fluctuate depending on what the team are doing at that present moment. Why does it take so long to make? That's a good question, very good question. Building props is basically two things, time and sanding. Those are the two things that go into making replica props. I think Paul's mum's backing up. Everything is time consuming to make. Everything is handmade. We have no automation. Is that a word? Everything is handmade. There is no automation. Got it. Just the nature of what we do requires, I don't know, human talent and flair, and it all takes time to make sure that it's right. So yeah, do we wish we could make them quicker? Yes. Is that possible? No. The best we can do is have a team of people with a varied talent pool, and that will allow us to make them as quickly as possible, and that's what we've got. So yeah, unfortunately it does take time. Why is my helmet dented? Let's rephrase the question. The question, are these defects correct? One of the main questions we get when someone gets a Stormtrooper helmet delivered is, are these dents or these crushers under the tubes supposed to be there? Or, well, we don't even get that. We get, someone will message and say, my helmet's got these dents and crushers. They are supposed to be there. They are part of the original helmet's detailing, which we have strenuously kept. There are other defects, lumps and bumps across the helmet as well, which were vac forming issues when it was originally made that are in the original piece, which we have retained in our replica because they are there in the original piece. And the other one that we get as well on the Stormtrooper helmet is the rubber S trim. Should it look all kind of bunched up and weird? Yes, it should on the helmet, because the wrong rubber trim is being used for the application of going around the bottom of the helmet. This is what they used on the original movie, and we are replicating the mistakes, if you like, that happened in the late 70s. We could make them so that they're perfect, but they would be perfect to imagination, really. They would not be perfect to anything. They wouldn't be accurate. They wouldn't have that lineage. They would be idealized and altered and moving away from that. And we're not really about that. If you want that, there are people out there that do make it. So you can go find it. Would I recommend it? No. And I'm not just saying that because we want to sell you a helmet. I'm saying that because at some point in the future, if you don't get the Lineage one, you're probably going to come round to thinking, I want the Lineage one. So also consider that. I remember when I first started out in this, although I wanted Lineage stuff, I was always like, I want Lineage, but I want better. I want Lineage, but I want it to be more idealized. And I honestly try and recommend against that now, because I know that eventually you come to terms with what the replica is all about, and the Lineage and that accuracy does become more important to you. Do you make props for films? Yes, we have done. We've got a very large feature coming out in December this year, which don't really want to talk about too much, certainly not before it comes out. But yes, we do make props for movies. This is an actual proper professional prop house. Do you ship to Timbuktu? We try and ship all over the world. There are restrictions outside of our control, and there are certain items that are restricted as well. So we try to put as many of the shipping locations as we can on the website. If you find you're not on there, or you are trying to order something and the shipping location is not available, then drop us a line at, you guessed it, info@rspropmasters.com. We can have a look if it's possible and add it, or we can explain why it's not possible at this time. Why don't you have it in stock? We have we have nothing in stock. We have 0 in stock with finished props. Everything is made to order. There's a couple of reasons for that. One, the time that it takes, which we've kind of discussed. That's pretty much it, really, isn't it? It's down to the time that it takes. If we were to start building up stock, we would have to move off commissions which are already ordered. Everything is made to order, so nothing is held in stock. Everything takes time. Some things take longer than others, obviously, but as far as stock goes, we don't really have the time or the room to stock it either. How do I get in the Hall of Fame? Okay, to get in the Hall of Fame, and I would really ask you to consider it and to send in your images for this, because we're really proud of the Hall of Fame. All you've got to do is drop us some really cool images. Look at the Hall of Fame for an example of what's been added previously, because it gives you a good idea of the kind of image that we're looking for, and just email it across to media@rspropmasters.com. I would probably say in a decent kind of resolution, is that the word? Just send us a nice high-res image, big as you can get on the email. Clarky's going to love that. Can I visit the studio to get measured by Paul? So I think this might be one that Clarky's added a little bit to. We can, if you are local enough, and crazily that kind of means if you're in the UK, I guess. If you do want to visit, no matter where you are in the world, but I think it'd be crazy if you're coming thousands of miles, because you will be disappointed. But yeah, we gladly take visitors. You can organise an appointment through the website, and we'd be glad to see you. Saturday mornings are always great fun for people to come in and hang out. Do you have tutorials for building the kits? We do have some. We're not fully comprehensive yet. We are working on it. All the resources that we have will be being added to the website. But yeah, we do have some, and we're looking to improve all of that. What colour do you use for painting the TK? I hate when people ask me about colours because I don't know. I'm not sure on the colours. That's completely Simon's domain. I think I heard something today about a blue, which is a matte 109 in Humbrol. Not sure. Gonna have to pass on that. I don't do any of the painting. You probably realise that by now. Can I buy a blaster by itself? There are issues with shipping blasters. We've just had one fail to arrive in Ireland and been returned to us. So it's tricky on the shipping, and they're a time-consuming piece. Usually we would make a blaster to complete a commission, therefore making it easier to just get all the components together, and rather than have to shop around. So that's why we do the blasters. Doing them by themselves is something we try and shy away from as much as possible. Why do limited runs? Example given, Y-wings. Okay, the limited runs are all about the projects that we would like to achieve in the future, and if we just make one thing all the time, it gets very repetitive, and it takes a lot of the fun out of it. The limited editions are all about having a special piece that captured the moment in time when it was created, and I guess it makes it a little bit more special. How does a payment plan work? I've got a nice new payment plan system. You can split it into 3 different payments. I hate talking about the payments. This is the vulgar bit that I don't get involved with. But it takes 3 different payments, and it sends you an email reminder when payment 2 and 3 are due. The one thing I do like about the payment plan is, because things take such a long time, if someone's using that method, usually by the time we get into the 3rd payment, we are, and it's due to be shipping, we're usually at the point where we are ready to ship. So that's the one thing that I do like about the payment plans. It takes the pressure off of everyone. There's nobody's expecting anything to be delivered anytime soon, because they're in the payment plan, and we know that we've got a date that we're working to and that we're trying to achieve as closely as possible. How do I contact your customer support? It's the same way you contact us anyway. It's the info@rspropmasters.com email address. That is the go-to form of contact for any problems. So these are the kinds of questions that we get asked a lot. If you've been watching this and you remember back to when you were first looking at what we do, and you were thinking about what you wanted to commission, and you had a question that you don't think was that we've covered today, do drop it in the comments below, and we'll consider that one, or we'll probably add that to our frequently asked questions section, so that we can cover all of these questions and hopefully make the experience a lot easier and more understandable. That's it. We got through a complete video without a single mum joke, so that is probably a first. Next time, not sure what we're going to be doing, but come back and see if it's interesting.